I'm John Mark Dempsey with Mass Media and Journalism, part of the Department of Literature and Languages. And I'm speaking here for Lions After Dark, which is a student-produced radio program Monday through Thursday night, 9 to 11 p.m. on KETR, 88.9 FM. And how do we advance here? Oh, okay, good. So, and there's a picture in the studio. The student-oriented Lions After Dark program, again, heard Monday through Friday, Thursday night from 9 to 11 on KETR. One of the very few live music programs on the air at night in North Texas. I don't know if you're aware of it, but most of the time when you're listening to radio at that time of night, you're listening to automated programming. It's one of the very few live programs on the air in North Texas, and really including Dallas. Two student broadcasters share the duties of preparing the broadcast on a 100,000 watt station, which reaches listeners in a range of about 70 miles. So KETR is not, quote, a campus station that maybe just reaches around the edges of the campus. KETR booms out to quite a territory. This is just very recent. This came about since we submitted our application. This semester, Lions After Dark won first place for overall excellence for student radio programs in the Texas Intercollegiate Press Association, or TIPA, competition. So we're very proud of that. Now that was for our division, which is Division II. I think there are two divisions, and I'm not sure who won Division I, perhaps somebody at the University of Texas or Texas A&M, but we're very proud to win first place in Division II. Last year, and I did mention this to you all last year, it is in the proposal, Lions After Dark won second place nationally in a student radio broadcast conference. The National Broadcast Society, NBS, is a national organization, and Lions After Dark won second place in that competition, finishing behind Marshall University 1 year ago. And we were proud of that honor. Lions After Dark gives a voice to A&M Commerce students, faculty, and staff. On their program, they're not just playing the hits, they are also welcoming visitors and guests into the studio. They maintain very active social media pages. The Lions After Dark Facebook page I'm most familiar with. And at last check, they had 600 friends, followers on Facebook. I do as Lavelle knows, I do a daily program myself on KETR in the morning called Blacklands Cafe. I only have 200 Facebook followers, so I'm envious of their 600 followers. And they do, when they have a live guest in the studio, they do a Facebook Live video. And so this was one of the more recent ones with Dr. Nick Patras, who's a favorite guest in the counseling center.
And we have us in studio, of course, our good friend from the counseling center, Mr. Nick Patras. How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing great. It's good to be here.
It's always great to have you in studio. You're one of our few guests that actually join us here live in studio, so it's always good to see your face, have you.
It's hard to get folks, as you might imagine, to come down live at 9:30 p.m. So a lot of times they have them on the phone. But whenever they have them live, they do a Facebook Live video with them, which those organizations, by the way, can then share. This is softball from a while back.
As most recently, doubleheader win over Rogers State in both games, 2-0 and 7-1. But I guess just go ahead and let y'all take the floor, ladies. How would just address this season so far? What's some of the good things that you guys have done?
It's Tyler McDonough as the host there. This is basketball and more basketball. This is Addison Jones. Is that Addison right there? So we
of SG, Ms. Addison Jones, and Vice President Grace Slater. How are y'all doing tonight, ladies?
Good. How are you?
Good. We're glad to have y'all in the studio with us.
So those are some Facebook Live programs, videos that they have done with guests, and that's a fairly frequent thing that they do. They also have a very active Twitter page. I'm not much on Twitter, so I don't I don't keep up with that as closely, but they have a similar number of followers on Twitter. So some photos there of activities in Lions After Dark. The student broadcasters, and this is the current group that we have, although the young man in the middle is a student athlete. I'm sorry, I don't know his name, but that's Tyler McDonough on the left and Drew Ivory on the right. Tyler is with the golf team today, or he would be here.
Alex Shallow, in the middle.
Alex,
Shallow.
okay.
He's the national president of the Student Athletic Council.
Okay, thank you for that. Tyler is a varsity golfer. And so Tyler's at, I think, the conference golf tournament. Drew had some, unfortunately, just had some car issues and could not be here because of that. Those are the current hosts. So the student broadcasters are entirely subject to the rules and operating procedures of KETR. The program seeks funding for 38 weeks per year. That's 15 weeks in the fall, 15 weeks in the spring, and 8 weeks in the summer. We calculate the cost of 2 student broadcasters paid $7.25 minimum wage per hour, 19 hours per week, to be about $10,500. Incidental expenses include a music service. Music is not free, and so the music has to be acquired. We have not done this as I wish we had done this year, but we would like to do more advertising, including through the Pride Shop. If there is any funding, if there is any additional funding available, we'd also like to do more to promote the program via Facebook and Twitter. Besides hosting the live program 2 hours each night, Monday through Thursdays, the hosts do show prep, research interesting, relevant discussion topics. Again, their job is not to back announce records. Their job is, yes, to back announce records, but also to present engaging conversation. They are, after all, broadcasting on a public radio station, and so there's a greater expectation of them than just to play the hit music. They do maintain a playlist of top 40 music, and they produce on-air promos for Lions After Dark and for other KETR programs. I would say also that just last week, when we had, I guess it was Wednesday night, and the weather turned out not to be quite so bad as we feared that it would be, but they were also doing live weather updates and broadcasting on the various warnings and watches and so forth that were taking place. That is Gabby Estrada, who was one of the original hosts of the program. She is now with Clear Channel Communications in Dallas. We've had others who have gone on to do very good things. Heather Hutchins is the program director of the Coyote and KGPL Radio in Greenville. We've had a number of notable folks that have moved on from the program on into their careers. KETR, of course, and not to go too much into detail about that, 100,000 watt FM station broadcasting to most of Northeast Texas, and their history goes back to 1975. And the original purpose of the station was that it would be a teaching laboratory for students. Dr. David Rigney developed an FCC application for an FM station that would be a teaching laboratory for students, and it went on the air April 7th, 1975. So what Lions After Dark is doing is very much at the center of what KETR was originally created to be about. And get out of that. I think that may be the final item. Yeah, final item in the PowerPoint. So again, we are greatly appreciative, grateful for the support the program has received over the years from student service fees, and we're proud of the program. I think the program definitely is a service to not only the campus but to the community, which is what broadcasting is supposed to be. Broadcasting serves in the public interest, convenience, and necessity, and we think KETR does that, and in particular Lions After Dark. That's it. Questions? Yes, sir.
Do you guys generate any revenue?
No, we don't. Of course, with public radio is nonprofit by definition and non-commercial by definition. And Public radio can carry what's called underwriting, which is the very, very low-key, it's not advertising. Most people might call it advertising, but if you've ever seen the underwriting announcements, perhaps on Channel 13, maybe before Sesame Street or Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood or something like that, you have a sense of what underwriting is about. That is a possibility, though. That's not out of the question. Underwriting support is something that KETR does seek and is pretty successful in getting for, especially for A&M Commerce football and basketball. So it is something that we could pursue, but not commercial advertising and stuff.
So you were funded 6,000 last year.
Yeah.
You're requesting 11.5. Can you talk a little bit about the
That,
difference?
we basically have asked that same amount each year. We calculate that's basically the cost of. I think what happened last year, we had a bit of a carryover, and here's why. About this time last year, I asked, I won't say who, I asked someone that I depend on for information, how much money have we got in that account looking ahead to the summer? And I was told we almost had no money in that account in that time. So we did not do the program last summer. Now, later, upon further review, I found that I received incorrect information, and we did have enough money to do the program over the summer, but we, the shiny side of that is that we saved that money. And we had a bit of a carryover going into the fall that we did not expect. And so that did benefit us, and we're still benefiting from that, although, again, we did not do the program last summer. So that was the downside.
Yeah, it looks like you may have a little carryover.
I calculate that if we go through the summer, we might have about $1,300.
Good, that's good. I'm glad you answered that.
I got fresh information this morning.
Good, okay.
We have a much better system, by the way, for tracking that now than we did. So that's a plus.
Yeah, you're probably one of the few that we fund that spends money in the summer. So, yeah.
Well, radio and all broadcasting is 365, 24 days a year, so we really do not want to shut down. It's not good, really, that we shut down between semesters, but really not good that we shut down for 3 months.
Anybody else? Could you just make sure Stacy has your presentation? You can email it to her. We've got it. Yeah.
The PowerPoint presentation,
yes, sir.
you're